Cactus 1549, runway 4, clear for takeoff.
Sully. Sully.
Sully, we're too low.
Sully. Sully. Sully, where are you?
No one warned us. No one said you were going to lose both engines at a lower altitude than any jet in history. This was dual engine loss at 2,800 feet, followed by an immediate water landing with 155 souls on board. No one has ever trained for an incident like that.
Our job is to investigate how a plane ended up in the Hudson River.
On the Hudson.
It's not a crash, it was a forced water landing.
Simulations showed that you could make it back to the airport.
Not possible. I felt it go. My aircraft.
Your aircraft.
I want you to know I did the best I could.
Of course you did. You saved everyone.
People call you a hero.
I don't feel like a hero.
Show us your cake, Super Sully.
There's been too much talk in the press already.
I'm overwhelmed by all this attention.
The left engine was still operating.
What if I did get this wrong? What if I endangered the lives of all those passengers?
I got an A320 diving for the river.
You did everything you could. It was more than enough.
When was your last drink, Captain Sullenberger? Have you had any troubles at home?
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
What?
Brace, brace, brace. Heads down, stay down.
There were 155 people on that plane.
Brace, brace, brace.
You were one of them.
Stay down.
Over 40 years in the air, but in the end, I'm going to be judged on 208 seconds. I need a count, passengers and crew.
Is anyone still here?
How did you pull off the impossible?
Sully.
Miracle on the Hudson. That was kind of a good omen in a bad period.
And it happened 100 seconds after takeoff. We lost thrust in both engines. It was a life-changing event for everyone on the airplane. The NTSB investigation, which is a big part of the story that people don't know.
Until I read the script, I didn't know the investigative board was trying to paint the picture that he had done the wrong thing. They were kind of railroading him into his fault, and that wasn't the case at all. There's something about a near miss like that. It makes you appreciate life as you have it.
Cactus 1549, runway 4, clear for takeoff.
Cactus 1549, clear for takeoff. I'll never get over how beautiful it is up here.
Life's easier in the air.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Cactus 1549. I've lost thrust on both engines. We are turning back towards LaGuardia.
I have an emergency. You lost both engines. Returning immediately.
Today, we begin with our investigation on the crash of U.S. Airways Flight 1549.
Cactus 1549, if we can get it for you, do you want to try to land runway 13?
We are unable. We may end up in the Hudson. This was not a crash. This was dual engine loss at a lower altitude than any jet in history, with 155 souls on board.
Cactus 1549, it's going to be left traffic, runway 31.
Unable.
Okay, what do you need to land?
No one has ever trained for an incident like that.
1549, runway 4 is available.
I don't think we can make any runway. What about over to our right?
Off your right side is Teterboro Airport.
Well, look, I'm sorry if you're frustrated, but our job is to investigate how a plane ended up in the Hudson River.
What if I did get this wrong? Endangered the lives of all those passengers.
Okay, you're scaring me now, Sully.
You can land runway 1 Teterboro.
We can't make it.
Okay, which runway would you like at Teterboro?
I've delivered 1 million passengers over 40 years, but in the end, I'm going to be judged on 208 seconds. We're going to end up in the Hudson.
I'm sorry, say again, Cactus?
This is the captain. Brace for impact. clear for takeoff. I'll never get over how beautiful it is up here. We're going to end up in the Hudson.
It was such a positive event out of a bad situation. Miracle on the Hudson, New Yorkers call it.
That he accomplished what he did is extraordinary, but there are repercussions to that heroic act.
Our job is to investigate how a plane ended up in the Hudson River.
What if I did get this wrong? What if I endangered the lives of all those passengers?
There is so much of this story that we don't know.
Simulations showed that you could make it back to the airport.
Not possible. I felt it go.
100 seconds after takeoff, we lost thrust in both engines. My first thought was, this can't be happening. After so many years of routine airline flying, to suddenly be confronted with this dire emergency was shocking. We couldn't make it through a runway. But I was confident the Hudson River was long enough, wide enough, smooth enough to land an airliner.
I'm watching it on the evening news, and I just thought, that's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to be able to make a landing like that. He turned that tragedy on its head, and it just resonated with all of America.
This is beautiful.
It's been a while since New York had news this good, especially with an airplane.
It was a sign of average people living through an event like that, what it did for the city and how it affected everybody personally. That was good omen in a bad period.
People call you a hero.
I'm just a man who was doing his job.
I was in New York that day. You just couldn't believe it. This was a man who worked and loved aviation for decades, and it all paid off.
I remember feeling the jubilation of the day and how that affected the city and the nation.
Sully is without a doubt a hero. Brace for impact.
I'm very grateful for what we achieved that day.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Cactus 1549. We've lost both engines.
Cactus 1549, do you need to return to LaGuardia?
We can't make it. We're going to end up in the Hudson.
I like the script, I like the story. It was such a positive event out of a bad situation.
My aircraft.
Your aircraft.
I got an A320 diving for the river.
There is so much of the story that you've never really heard the details of it. I don't think anybody but Clint could make this movie. He's a master filmmaker.
What if I did get this wrong? What if I endangered the lives of all those passengers?
Clint creates an atmosphere that is just a joy. You just know you're going to have a great time, that it's going to be interesting material, that you're going to be working with great people.
He's made some of the most influential motion pictures in the history of American cinema.
I want you to know I did the best I could.
Of course you did. You saved everyone.
Tom was one of the first people we thought about when making a list in your mind of possible people who could play it. Working with Tom is terrific. He's a consummate pro.
Sully, where are you?
Clint Eastwood, Tom Hanks, this really is a dream team, and they're working very hard to tell this story truly and very, very well.
Over 40 years in the air, but in the end, I'm going to be judged on 208 seconds.